like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Clap along
please
if
remain
you feel
standing.
like happiness is the truth.
We will put down the happy music. And now I'd like to ask everybody to please remain standing for a special blessing by Jeremy Cepeda, who is a Chamorro chanter and Micronesian Area Research Center researcher.
Megamasi. Today I'm going to start us off with a chant entitled Man Et Nun Hit. And in this chant, we say that we come together to give thanks to Creator the Most High for all the things that Creator has done for our lives and for each other, for our ancestors and our ancestral words of wisdom, and all the things that have been provided for us. And so shall it be that way. Amen. Man et nun hit gwini pagu natatuna siya saina Izahululu Lui gefilatinos nyasiha Lui linalotanu izahita Lui manyai natanu ipaotasiha Nui gwinahota Zan hokuku kadzuniha Nagwahadzihin Tai gwenau mohon Megamasi, Jesus Masi.
Sijuas Maasi, Mr. Cepeda, ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Thank you to our band Malak Botna. You may have heard them earlier. How about a round of applause for them? Yeah. Hafaday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Norman Analista. I'm the Director for Development, Alumni Affairs, and Foundation Relations here at the University of Guam. And it's my honor to serve as one of your Masters of Ceremonies. Welcome to this farewell ceremony for the 11th President of the University of Guam, Dr. Thomas W. Krise. Before we proceed with our program, I'd like to recognize some important people who are in our audience this afternoon. Chairperson for the University of Guam Board of Regents, Ms. Lisa J. Provido. Vice Chairperson, Ms. Sandra H. McKeever. Treasurer, Mr. Mike Nahalawa'a. Member, Ms. Leslie Ann Leon Guerrero. Member, Mr. Agapito A. Diaz. Member, Dr. Janice Malilai. And student member, Ms. Julie Ann Laksamana. And of course, in our audience, we have the 11th President of the University of Guam, Dr. Thomas W. Krise, and his wife, Patty. Dr. Anita Borja Enriquez, Senior Vice President and Provost. Mr. Randy Wiegand, Vice President and Chief Business Officer. Dr. Rachel Leon Guerrero, Vice Provost for Research and Sponsored Programs. Ms. Marlena Pangilinan, Vice Provost for Institutional Effectiveness. Dr. Charlene Santos Bamba, Interim Vice Provost, Academic Excellence, Director of Graduate Studies and Online Learning. Dr. Catherine Wood, Interim Dean, School of Health. Dr. Roseanne Jones, Interim Dean, School of Business and Public Administration. Dr. Adrian Ares, Interim Associate Dean for the Western Pacific Tropical Research Center from the College of Natural and Applied Sciences. Dr. Kate Moots, Interim Associate Dean, Instruction from the College of Natural and Applied Sciences. We are also very honored to have with us island dignitaries, the Honorable Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero, Governor of Guam. We also have members of the 37th Guam Legislature, Vice Speaker Tina Munya Barnes, Legislative Secretary Amanda Shelton, Senator Jesse Lujan. We're also honored to have with us this afternoon Vice President for the Student Government Association, Mr. Christian Giles Ramos. From the UOG Endowment Foundation, we have the Director, Ms. Kat Perez. We also are honored to have with us the Chairman of the Board, Mr. Jesse Leon Guerrero, as well as fellow directors, former Governor Joseph Ada, Roderick Leon Guerrero, and Flo Martinez. We also want to recognize the presence of Senator Roy Kinata. From the Society of Emeritus Professors and Retired Scholars, we have Dr. Hiro Kuroshina. We are also honored to have with us this afternoon In Cook Kim, Head of Mission from the Republic of Korea. As well as Ishigami Rumiko, Consul General, Consulate of Japan. We also have Flores Ferdinand, Consul from the Philippine Consulate Office. Ladies and gentlemen, if I inadvertently left anybody from the introduction of dignitaries, please bring that to my attention. I will make sure that they get recognized. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to our stage Chairperson for the Board of Regents, Ms. Lisa J. Provito, to provide a special presentation.
Thank you, Norman. Buenas and half a day to all our distinguished guests, our Triton leadership, administrators, faculty, students, and staff. Last but not least, to President Krise. It's my privilege to have served on the Board of Regents and as chair during your term as the 11th president of the University of Guam. It seems only like yesterday, but imagine your term measured in a day, which started out with a legacy of giving, first with your good faith and extremely generous donation of $85,000 to the Krise Scholarship Fund, and recently with the establishment of the Triton Annual Fund. And right around the end of the workday, you picked up from where your predecessor left off with a good to great vision and launched the Parahulo Plan, which realigned best practices and standard procedures adopted by institutions of higher education with UOG's mission. It underscored research centered in island wisdom, growing the university as a partnership university, enriching student experience and enhancing the university's reputation with improved ranking and student retention. Then by early evening, very unexpectedly, the COVID virus pandemic surged through the island, but then gradually subsided the next morning. And despite that, preparations were already well underway to celebrate the 70th founding anniversary of UOG as the leading and only accredited university in Guam and Micronesia. Under your watch, the Sea Grant status wasn't just a dream, but it was a kind of poetic destiny, as if UOG was meant to be a Sea Grant institution. But maybe I'm reading too much into it, but you know, the sea god Poseidon was the father of Triton, and he also ruled as the god of the sea. And his trident certainly was loaded with obvious symbolism with the university's mission of Ina, Descubre, and Setbe. There's much more to mention, such as setting up the Pi Beta Kappa Honor Society, but most importantly, I'm still holding out that before the end of your day, we'll see the groundbreaking of the Student Success Center, School of Engineering, Wary, and School of Health buildings. And finally, I just wanted to mention that Patty also did not waste any time in picking up a tennis racket when I hit her up to play during that first faculty convocation. And you know, Patty ended up being quite the competitor for our ladies team, the Rally Cats. So I'm glad I hit you up before anyone else did. But Dr. Krise, this is the day in your life as our president that I'll take with me and remember during my time as regent. It has been truly a remarkable day, and a heartfelt thank you for your stewardship, collegiality, and wise counsel. So with that, I'd like to wish you Godspeed, both to you and Patty. At this time, I'd like to now call on our regents to the stage, if you can, please. And we have two regents that are not in attendance, but this is really a proud moment for the Board of Regents, because we really stepped up in our calling to really serve the university and help the students as much as we possibly could. And this really proves that, that we as a board can really rise up to this occasion. So in behalf of the Board of Regents, it's my honor to present to you and Patty a donation in the amount of $8,000 to the Krise Foundation Scholarship. And this is really in deep appreciation for your legacy of giving. So thank you, Dr. Krise and Patty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And now we will hear from our Senior Vice President and Provost, Dr. Anita Borja Enriquez.
Thank you very much. 5 years ago, I placed a phone call, and I called Dr. Krise. And we had quite a lengthy conversation on the phone, and I was on my way to meetings regarding some grants, and we had a very endearing conversation that was preceded his 5-year term at the University of Guam. And I told Dr. Krise, I think you remember the conversation, that I will be staying on board and I will be working with you to ensure that the university is sustained and we continue the journey. And so he empathized. He said, I know what it's like. I've been there. And it's been an amazing collaborative relationship since then. Dr. Krise did not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Dr. Underwood finalized his journey with our Good to Great implementation plan, which really was the process of revisiting all of our different programs and trying to determine how to keep the university sustainable and position it for growth. Dr. Krise, in his quest for developing the new Parahulu strategic plan, brought in all the key representatives of the institution to ensure that we address what was still outstanding from the Good to Great implementation plan and what else was needed to bring our institution Parahulu or ever upward. What I appreciated about his leadership, I have to say that Patty and Tom here, I've never called him Tom, it was always Mr. President. The beauty of their presence and their engagement with the University of Guam was that they had so much confidence in our key members of the university community to continue the voyage of doing everything we could to advance the major strategic initiatives reflected in the Parahulu strategic plan. And because of that confidence, that we've seen the momentum and the trajectory of our institution with our committed, passionate members of our university team working together in being recognized as a research university centered in island wisdom, working together to lead as a partnership university, working together to advance the student experience and to work on sustainability and so forth. Our university still stands at its importance in delivering public value, not just to our communities at large here on island, but also throughout the region. We have our purpose for being, and it really takes a very special person recognizing that ultimate value of the institution. And I always, I thought it was always amazing how he has always shown up to the different initiatives. We're very grateful for that. And thank you so much for advancing the importance of college affordability through your generous scholarship funds with the Endowment Foundation. Because of your support to allow us to be all you can be, I've been able to thrive at the institution because of that support and because of that confidence. The Island Wisdom Voyage was launched. The Island Wisdom Committee or group, I think they're going to call themselves a council now. We've got the Digital Guathec. We've been able to secure many grants to support that. We have our first ever certificate in traditional seafaring. Efforts through the Center for Island Sustainability through the G3 initiatives, working in partnership with other members of our traditional communities to advance the certificate or the program in traditional medicine. But recognizing what is truly unique at our institution, leveraging all of those hearts, leveraging the added value that they bring to the table to deliver public value, and making sure that we're able to position that and to increase the recognition of the institution. So under Dr. Krise's tutelage, we've been able to gain recognition, just marks of being an institution that advances social mobility for our first-generation students, for those of low-income households. Also being recognized in the top 32% of U.S. institutions, in research. Institutions of high caliber coming to our shores, wanting to partner with the University of Guam, unheard of. So we attribute your confidence, Dr. Krise, we attribute all of your support towards allowing us to advance ever upward in Parahulu. So some of us stalk you on on Instagram, and we know that you're notorious for just diving into the ocean and taking so many photos and of sunsets. So a very special gift. I'd like to call upon Dr. Charlene, VP Marlena, my staff, and we just have something that we'd like to present to both you and Patty. I want to thank the Island Wisdom Group. I'm going to open this up. For your passion of diving, of valuing the marine life we have, for your engagement in Island Wisdom. Rachel Leangro, please join us. For your love of our beautiful sunsets. May we present to you the University of Guam's canoe, docked from its canoe house with a different sunset, not from Tumon. Yeah, so I just want to read this really quick. This honorary distinction is presented to Dr. Thomas Krise in recognition and appreciation for your leadership and service as the 11th President of the University of Guam in leading us Parahulu sumendangkalan na sismasi para todo itsetso mo para Universidad Guahan. Presented this 12th day of May in the village of Manilao, please.
Thank you, Dr. Enriquez. I also would like to recognize the presence of Vice Consul Sheila Briones from the Philippine Consulate General's Office, as well as Dr. Rebecca Stephenson, who is with the Society of Retired Scholars, Society of Professional Scholars, SEPRS. I got it written down somewhere, SEPRS. Welcome. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will hear from Mr. Randy Wiegand, who is Vice President for Administration and Finance.
So I'm going to be quick. As I was thinking about the last 5 years, the thing that came to me is these have been some turbulent times, and the last 5 years, this term has really been marked by some very difficult situations. President Krise started his 27th day by hearing that a dead body had been found on campus. And we didn't know what was going on. We soon found it was one of our beloved colleagues here. And the first officer on the scene had said he thinks it's a homicide. And so we had the flood of emotions going on. And I was thinking to myself, oh, why did this have to happen so soon in his tenure? Why couldn't, this kind of stuff doesn't happen around here. How could this happen? And so that was a big loss. I think within a month or within a month and a half, we had a storm, and the campus had to close. Everybody went home and is waiting out the storm, and then the next morning we're surveying and trying to see what the damage is. And I thought, oh gosh, this is 2 events really quickly. I feel so bad that he's come from off island to work here, and now 2 really tough things have come about. But that was only the beginning. In May of 2019, USDA advised us that our loan that we had with them was being deobligated. And I had never heard of a loan being deobligated, but they found some archaic rule that required them to deobligate the loan. And so that just created a whole new set of issues we had to deal with. At the end of 2019, there were a series of articles on the internet about credit card use at the university. And even though we hadn't been given an opportunity to respond, no media was asking us about it, we didn't have any opportunity to give our side, still the brand of UOG was tarnished by those events. Everybody knows, in March of 2020, the most significant event of the century took place, where we had to shut down the campus due to a pandemic. Everybody had to go home. Students were learning online. All the staff are working online, trying to figure out how they can get their jobs done online. Later that year, we had a ransomware attack, and fortunately, our core system was not affected, but our exterior systems were, and so processes that had been streamlined and were able to be done electronically were now having to be done manual. And everybody's saying, we're trying to move forward. Now you're asking us to do it manually, and we had no choice. Then we had supply chain disruptions, and everybody was saying that due to these disruptions, the costs of all our projects are going up. The availability of materials was way down, and as part of that, we learned that the shelving was already late for the Guam Cultural Repository, but we had been advised that the shelving was in a warehouse, ready to go, but there were no truckers to be found who could take it from the warehouse to the port for shipping. And couldn't believe there's one more thing that had to happen. And then finally, the whole heart of the campus was saddened in December of last year when we learned that our Dean Margaret had passed, and caused just great disruption throughout the campus. And once again, I was thinking, how could all these things happen in one 5-year presidency? So it really was a time of turbulence, but there are also some distinguishments that took place. People have mentioned the Parahulo strategic plan. In 2020, UOG was notified that it was going to be receiving $20 million in its EPSCoR grant, and that's the highest award they can give. It's the largest research grant ever received by the university, so very distinguishing. RCOG, Kathleen, just grown through the roof during this last 5 years. We're now a Sea Grant university, that was mentioned before. the first graduates from the School of Engineering have walked in our ceremonies. The first doctorate is nearing approval and may be done before the term is over. The cultural repository was completed. It was almost on time. It would have been on time except for the supply chain issues, and it was on budget. Construction grants were received from the United States Economic Development Administration. I'm not sure that had ever happened at the university. We've talked about the Social Mobility Awards. That's something to be so proud of as an employee here, to know that we are among the best colleges at taking people who've never been to college, never had a college experience, and seeing them through to a degree. So President Krise's term is going to be characterized by the turbulence. It's also going to be characterized by a lot of accomplishments. And I just wanted to thank you, Mr. President, for your perseverance, your determination, your guiding hand to see us through this. And it's been an honor to have been along this ride with you. So thank you very much. So Rachel's going to come up in a minute and mention something from the admin council. I didn't want to let the president get away, and I know he can't take things, but this bag was a great idea to come up with, and it's called the Baluton bag, and he will never get this any other place than Guam. And we also wanted to leave with the Black G hat. So small token of our appreciation. So.
Thank you, Mr. Wiegand. And now we will hear from the Honorable Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero, Governor of Guam.
Thank you very much, Norman. Half a day. It is with great pride and honor that I am here to help you in your farewell celebration and standing in a building in memory of my father, Jesus Leon Guerrero, and my mother, Eugenia Leon Guerrero, who has always been very much a advocate of higher education. He did not have the opportunity to do that, but he wanted to make sure that our community had access to higher education. I also want to say, Dr. Krise, that your journey from being a congressional delegate appointee to the Air Academy, to the Air Force Academy, to being 22 years in the Air Force, 11 of that was in teaching at the Academy, and your journey that went from Jamaica to California to Guam. You went from the furthest side of the ocean to here in Guam, I think is a destiny for you to come and be part of this great institution. I also want to say thank you for being such a great partner to the people of Guam. Thank you for being such a great partner of mine in making sure that we find the finances, making sure that we help you provide the resources that you need to continue and expand and bring our institution of higher learning at a higher level. You've done many, as we have heard. You've brought forward a lot of initiatives that all benefited the people of Guam. And please be reminded that the University of Guam is the only higher institution of learning and the mechanism to give out to our community an educated workforce. Because when we have an educated workforce, we will have a successful community, and we can better live the lives of our people. I am also very honored to be your co-chair in the G3 that you, together with your leaders and your management, put together the best program for island sustainability for our Guam. And I don't say that just for here locally, because I have traveled region and nation. And when I tout and when I talk very highly about what Guam is doing for climate change, what Guam is doing to sustain our economy, to sustain our food, to sustain our social economic life, we are way ahead of any state of the United States of America. And I attribute that to your leadership. I attribute that to the great group of experts that you have, professors of great caliber. And I always am very proud when I'm out there to talk about what we do as a Guam in all the initiatives that are very much focused from a local, regional, and a national level. So I am very sad that you are going to be leaving, because I will lose a great partner in all those initiatives that you have talked about. Along with your team, when you come to the governor's office and you ask for money so that you can continue on with your agenda in building the School of Engineer, the Student Center, and others, I have always said, yes, Dr. Krise, and we will find the money. And we have. Why? Because we, as a government, must continue supporting this educational higher institution of learning, because they are, you are, all of you are the key to success of the lives of our people. So I just want to say thank you. I want to say, when you're out there sailing with Patty around the world, in your moments, please think of us. And in your moments, I hope you have great memories of us. I also want to say something about Patty. During the pandemic, when I was touring the call center, because I was always wondering, how are these people really giving information out to the community about what COVID is, what we're going to do, here's what we're doing? And they always say, the call center, the medical call center. So I said, I want to go see this. And who did I see making those calls? Patty. She volunteered hours and hours and hours of her time to help us get through this pandemic. And without the help of the University of Guam, your people, in terms of making sure we have the right processes, the effective, efficient processes to test people, vaccinate people, and so forth, we wouldn't be where we are today, safe as a community against COVID. So I also want to present to you, and I don't know, where is my, oh, here it is. So, Dr. Krise, on behalf of the people of Guam, I want to award you the highest award that a governor can bestow upon a person, and that award is the Magahaga Award presented to Dr. Thomas W. Krise, signed on this 12th day of May in the year of our Lord, Anno Domini 2023, by myself, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, and he sends his greatest appreciation also for being a great partner in all the initiatives that would lift our people's lives up. So thank you so much. We honor your leadership at the University of Guam and all the contributions to the island and the people of Guam. Have fun.
Thank you, Governor Leon Guerrero. And now we will hear from the Honorable Amanda Shelton, Legislative Secretary.
I don't think that was very fair to make me follow the governor giving the highest award of the island to Dr. Krise. But I'm very honored to be with you, Dr. Krise, today as we celebrate and Patty, your tenure here at the University of Guam. Dr. Krise and I started our term together, the 35th Guam Legislature, with the 11th President of the University of Guam, and we've had a great relationship. Dr. Krise has been at the legislature lobbying every single senator, meeting with your team, advocating, of course, for more resources for the university. And though we haven't always been on the same page or agreed on every issue, we agreed every step of the way that the students were first and anything for the betterment of our island and the education of our island. And so we have worked together to provide that from the Committee on Higher Education. And I value your partnership so much, Dr. Krise. We will definitely miss you. And so Randy did a great job of highlighting some of those, scary moments that you faced. And many times we had to face those together in oversight hearings and budget hearings. And you might be celebrating today that you're going away, on your beautiful trip, but don't celebrate too quickly because you have a budget hearing next week, all right? So we'll need you there. And to continue to advocate for the University of Guam, to remind us what a value this is to our community and to our entire region. And so your surprise, your gift from the legislature will come in a few days, a very special surprise, but I'd like to bring up my colleagues for them to wish you a very happy retirement from the University of Guam. Biba, President Krise, and Biba Uochi.
Ladies and gentlemen, when Senator Amanda, the legislative secretary, asked me to share in the resolution presentation, we said we wanted to do something special, right? A gift that will come real soon. But she asked, what could we give that was significant in nature and something that he could remember us by? And in our Chamorro culture, right, we always believe that when we adopt folks into our family, into our community, into being a part of our culture, we want to leave something very special. And President Krise, Patty, this is not much, but I want to say, for me, it's a big significance because it's the seal of Guam. It's a pin and it's a representation of our island of Guam. It has a bit of everything from our tree of life to our two lovers point, our legend, our house, and our tree, and our sailboat. And I just want to say, congratulations on your new journey. Guam will always have a special place in her heart for you and Patty, but most especially, the love that the students have for you here at the university is priceless. So, Sen Guanaiza, si Zeus on Benedisi, Hamzunados, then God bless both of you in your new journey.
Thank you to all of the members of the 37th Guam Legislature. Now, you may have noticed the flags that are behind you. And when Dr. Krise had his investiture 5 years ago in the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse, we put them on display to represent representatives of the student population on campus. And I was the master of ceremonies that day, and today we're back to be part of this farewell ceremony. We're really, really going to miss him. Ladies and gentlemen, to deliver his remarks, Dr. Thomas W. Krise.
And Happy Day, everyone. Thanks very much to our distinguished guests, including our elected leaders and our diplomatic corps. And this is such a wonderful gathering, and I'm honored and delighted to be the cause of the festivities. I happen to share my birthday of October 27th with U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, so I've paid attention to his life and sayings. And one of his that I like to repeat is, he said, "Far and away, the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing." And while I agree with Teddy that that is very true, I think a good corollary to this comes from Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, who said at a conference I attended some years ago, he said, "What matters in life isn't what you work on, but who you work with." It has been a great privilege for me to be able to work hard on the worthwhile work of UOG with an extraordinary group of administrators, faculty, staff, students, and community leaders. These 5 years have been challenging for all of us, as Randy pointed out, but we've also accomplished a great deal for our students and for our community. The very kind proclamations and presentations you've heard today have covered so much of what we've done together that I won't repeat those now. But I do think what we've been about these 5 years is securing what I think of as external validation for the excellence that is UOG. I think we've proven that UOG is a mature, serious, accomplished institution of higher education, and that we can marshal the resources and the intellect to solve our region's problems and to take advantage of our opportunities. I think we've proven that we can supply our islands and our region's needs for educated, trained, professional graduates and depend less and less on imported expertise such as travel nurses, off-island engineers, and other professionals. And I think we've proven that we can help foster an economy that keeps our people here and attracts the diaspora home. That we can be an important player in the cultivation and celebration of island wisdom and all that that encompasses. These accomplishments are only possible because of the people who do this important work. Among the great people I've had the privilege to work with at UOG are 9 who left us much too soon and passed away on the job. And I'll list them now. Angel Petros, Carrie Perez, Suzanne Bells, Joe Rouse, Evelyn Chargaloff, Larry Gamboa, Mark Lander, Kenneth Mendiola, and Margaret Hattori Uchima. I'd be glad if you join me for a moment of silence to remember them and all that they meant to us. These 9 colleagues helped us all achieve so much over these 5 years and many years before that. Others I'd like to thank by name each represent whole teams of great dedicated people who help our students succeed and help UOG to accomplish its island-wide and region-wide mission of Ina Descubre Setby. Let me start by expressing my gratitude to my predecessor, Dr. Robert Underwood, for his wise counsel these 5 years, and also to the Board of Regents, almost all of whom are here today, and I'm delighted to have them here with us. And also those regents who came before, particularly the chairs I've had the pleasure to work with. And of course, besides Lisa Previto, there was Jerry Philish, Elvin Chang, Gillette Leon Guerrero, who was chair for one day, Chris Felix, and Betty Gale. And next, I'd like to recognize the President's Council and their teams. First up, of course, is Dr. Anita Borja Enriquez for her grace, wisdom, and institutional knowledge, for her very large team, including all the deans of the colleges and schools and everyone in academic and student affairs. Randy Wiegand for his trustworthiness, steadiness, and care. His large team, including the budget, controller's office, HR, IT, FMS, and safety and security. Anthony Camacho for his depth of legal knowledge, his judgment, and his indefatigability. Dave Okada, and I think of whenever I have a problem, I go to the email and I type OK, and that brings up his name, and I know it'll be okay. So. And also Jim Hollier, who's been dogged in his pursuit of order and organization and accomplishments. Jonas Macapinlack and his great team, the Marcom teams, won 31 international and national awards, showering glory on their many partners across the university. Norm Analista, who's our impresario of great events and is helping to grow our advancement capability. Carlos Taitano and his entrepreneurial team supporting so many great projects and being the point person for all things partnership. Rachel Leon Guerrero and her ORSP team, and Kathleen Moore-Lynn and her RCUOG team, we love abbreviations. Together with our research faculty, they've enabled and supported this incredible growth and development of our research enterprise, making UOG, as Randy pointed out, among the top 32% of U.S. universities receiving federal research support. Lee Udine and his CNAS and SENG and Dean's Council teams, including, of course, James Selman, Monique Story, Alicia Uggan, Kathy Wood, Annette Santos, Roseanne Jones, and all of their teams. Lawrence Camacho and his EMSS team, Joe Gumatautau and his HR team, Vince Dela Cruz and his IT team. So much has been improved and advanced by these teams and their very capable leaders. And of course, I'd like to thank our former President's Council members, Remy Cristobal, Manny Hechanova, and Vicky Renacia. I think each of these I've named and thanked represents teams encompassing the whole university, but there are a few others I work closely with and want to offer a shout out of thanks, including Charlene Santos-Bamba, Marlena Pangilinan, Rachel Kubicub, Abby Martin, Mark Mendiola, Bob Barber, Mary Cruz, Chris Garcia Santos, Sally McDonald, along with great student leaders such as Kiona Rivera, Christian Ramos, Austin Fortuno, Julie Laxamana, and all of their predecessors. I'd also like to include my thanks for the USG Endowment Foundation and its board, chaired for many years by the UOG's sixth president, Dr. Wilfred Leon Guerrero, and now, of course, chaired by Jesse Leon Guerrero, and its whole staff, led first during my term by Mel Mendiola, and for a number of years now by Kat Perez. And I'm grateful for the chance to work so closely with our governor, Lou, and Lieutenant Governor Josh, and we should all be grateful for having them at the helm during some of the most challenging times Guam has ever faced. And I'm also very grateful for both of them for their commitment to the Guam Green Growth Initiative, as the governor remarked on, and for their support for Austin Shelton and his great Sea Grant and CIS teams. And of course, I'd also like to thank Senator Amanda Shelton and her colleagues in the legislature who've helped UOG by changing the laws to allow us to develop public-private partnerships, the new PTE class of employees, and supported initiatives such as the Guam Green Growth. The risk of naming names, of course, is leaving people out. So I'd like to shout out to some more names alone. These, ooh, that's exciting. We must not be in the mainland because we'd all hit the ground now, right, when you heard that. So we're happily here in Guam. These names will conjure their contributions, I think, for most in this audience. John Jensen, Lori Raimondo, Sharam Kasnopana, Ujwal Patil, Ron Castro, Velma Yamashita, Arlene Leon Guerrero, Heidi San Nicolas, Dee Leon Guerrero, Carlos Madrid, Kate Moots, Adrian Ares, Pete Marcinas, John Nguyen, Terry Donaldson, Tanisha Affleguid, Frank Camacho, June De Leon, Leslie Aquino, Victoria Lola Leon Guerrero, Hiro Kiyoshina and the whole CEPERS team, and Evander de Guzman, Angelo Pauli, and so many other student leaders. And of course, our UOG mission expands to the region and beyond, and I'd like to shout out to my colleagues in the Pacific Post-Secondary Education Council, including Mary Okada, Patrick Tilley, Rose Pato, Irene Tafaki, Teresa Coravellano, Frankie Elliptico, Manny Mori, Galvin De Leon Guerrero, and David Lassner and his UH team. And of course, I like the old adage that nothing is impossible for a person with a great staff. And nothing would happen without Chris Mabayag, Tess Duenas, Cynthia Guerrero, Carm Blas, June Calvo, Orana El Seguini, Kayleen Roberto, and our custodians, particularly here, Chris and Carm, and all their colleagues across campus. And there are so many more I'd love to name, but understand that all these names mentioned represent many, many other Tritons who are working hard with heart to transform lives and advance our communities. Thank you all for being such excellent teammates and partners in the important work of this great institution. We've all been through a lot these 5 years, but we have a lot to show for it. Chiefly in the success of our students, we've helped educate and the difference they are making in our world. Thanks to our students, the ripples of our good work will spread out to the world for ages to come. It really is a privilege to be able to work hard at work worth doing. And who you work with is really much more important. Patty joins me in thanking you all for welcoming us so warmly, and I thank you all for the high honor of serving as your 11th president. Biba UOG.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about another round of applause for Dr. Thomas W. Krise. And now I'm going to hand over responsibilities for emceeing the rest of the program. We have a second set of very brief presentations, and I'd like to welcome to the lectern Mr. Kyle Manapat.
All right. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our Dr. Thomas Krise. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. When Dr. Krise first got to Guam, I was very like, whoa, what's going on, you know? I wasn't working here at UOG just yet, but I had my reservations. I'm not going to lie to you, Doc. I know we're really close now. You're going to be the Ninu for my next baby. But in the beginning, I was kind of like, what's going on? I got to see this through. But slowly but surely, this man has won me over. 3 easy steps. First one, the first time I saw him eat a spare rib. Have you seen Dr. Krise eat a spare rib? Like that. Give it up for Dr. Krise eating spare ribs. Yes. Second one is his amazing biba. This man has the best biba on the island after Antitina. Make some noise and let me hear you. Biba, Dr. Krise. But the third one, you know what? I tried to find it earlier. I couldn't. And thank you, Lord. They brought it to us today. I'd like to ask Jonas's help. Look at this screen right here, please. This is him, right? Beautiful picture. We love it. This next picture is even better. Are you ready, Doc? Here we go. Hold on. Press pause. Press pause. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a man changed by Guam. That is a man standing poolside at a 5-star hotel in a suit, in a tie, and in Dory. I could not be any prouder. One more time, make some noise for Dr. Krise. I will say, though, Doc, before we move forward with what seems like your baby shower, everybody keeps giving you gifts. You know, you are always there and you're very supportive. He's been down in the dirt with us as we planted plants and native and species. He's been out there with us at every turn and every corner, so much to the point that we can't possibly think of having an event or getting out into the community without you. So we're going to miss you very much. Thank you so much for all your support. One more time, make some noise for Dr. Krise. I'm not the only one who wants to say thank you. Obviously, we're all here for that reason, and we've got a lot of great groups that want to continue the celebration of all of our achievements under your watch. I'd like to welcome first off our friends to the University of Guam Endowment Foundation.
This is just very briefly, but on behalf of the UOG Endowment Foundation, we wanted to thank you, President Krise, for your leadership, your direct and indirect support of the UOG Endowment Foundation. Directly, of course, because you're a member, you served as executive secretary for our board of directors, and also you've showed up whenever I said, hey, there's a photo op, can you please come? In addition to that, you created a great philanthropic example, a great leadership example for philanthropy. Of course, you created 3 endowed scholarships, which have already helped 6 students towards achieving their goals. We're very grateful to you and Mrs. Krise for that. And of course, indirectly, I think a lot of it's been said already, but you make it easy to sell UOG because of the passion that you inspire with your organization as a whole. The Centers for Research, your faculty, your admin, you know, and plus you have Jonas as part of a really great marketing communications team, always supportive of us in helping us share the word that the University of Guam is very important and vital for the economic growth of Guam. And I hope you do listen to us during the next budget hearing, right? So thank you so much for your support, sir. We have a little something for you. This is a stained glass mosaic from a local artist, Mark Muir, and it's of a Micronesian honey eater, which is a very rare bird found in the Mariana Islands. So please keep it in remembrance of us. Think of us often. Thank you.
Wow. Beautiful. You better put that in your hand carry, sir. Don't you put that in your luggage.
I just want to say one thing, Mr. President. Mr. President, we have 5 affirmative votes for our budget next week, right here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and up next, we'd like to welcome our friends in the UOG Admin Council.
Hi, so if you're a member of the Administrative Council of the University of Guam, I am going to ask you to come up really quickly for the photo op, but I did have some words to share to President Krise. So President Krise, your leadership and your guidance have been instrumental in shaping the university's strategic direction and helped us continue our mission to serve our students, our island, and our region. We're filled with appreciation for the hard work you have put into making our university move ever upward. On behalf of the Administrative Council, we would like to present to you this certificate of appreciation, and it says, I'll just read it before you come up. The University of Guam Admin Council proudly presents this certificate to Thomas W. Krise for his dedication, hard work, and commitment to moving the university ever upward in his 5 years of service. We are grateful for his leadership and will miss him dearly. Members of the Administrative Council wish him the best in his retirement and hope he enjoys this new chapter of his life. Viva, given at Manila, Guam, this 12th day of May 2023, and you'll see that our members have signed this certificate for you. And along with this, the members have put together a contribution of $2,160 to the Patricia and Thomas W. Krise Scholarships at the University Endowment Foundation. And these include the First Generation Scholarship, GAP Scholarship, and the internship grants. So thank you again, President Krise, and if all the Admin Council members can come up, because he is our king of scuba diving, sunsets, and selfies. We'd like to take a selfie with you before you go. We love you so much, and we're so thankful for you. And yes, Miss Patty, please come up. So before the photo op, we're going to do a selfie, and I know he's going to pull his camera out to do a selfie too. So give us a second here. I'm going to pull out my camera, and I'll just do this, and everybody say, Viva UOG! Yay! Thank you so much, President Krise. Okay, I think President Krise wants to do another one. All right, there we go. Here. Okay, so Eugene, I don't know if someone's going to take our photo. We're ready. We're ready for the camera. You know, so we meet virtually still, and so this is really nice that we're all here face to face. So I've had to, yes, we're good. Sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, UOG Admin Council. Up next, please welcome UOG Enrollment, Management, and Student Success.
No, I'm not Dr. Lawrence Camacho. I'm Mark Mendiola. I'm the Director of Residence Halls. I think it was, Dr. Underwood when he said that it was at the investiture, the coming of Christ. So now we're here for the Assumption of Christ. So we have something special for Dr. Krise and something really significant with our community is so diverse. And so we wanted to share this with you. The Palawan Ibako is hereby presented to Dr. Thomas W. Krise for his excellent leadership and dedication to the Trident students and EMSS Division as President of the University of Guam, August 2018 to August 2023. And he doesn't want to say it loudly, but it's his best division. I put that in. One of the most important tools of the Palawan men is the adze, the ibako, used as the main tool for wood carving and chipping when building houses, canoes, and bridges. The ibako may also be regarded as a handy tool for trivial tasks such as bitter nut cracking, the cutting of cord, or the clearing of vine and tangle along one's pathway. Once a man learns the skills associated with its use, the ibako becomes inseparable from its owner. Balanced on one shoulder when not in use. The adze may be removed for safekeeping only when the owner retires for the night. Otherwise, the ibako, wherever the owner goes during his every waking moment. The significance of the ibako derives not so much from how the tool is meant to be used, but rather its owner's skills and responsibilities in its use. The highest purpose of the ibako is to build meaningful projects for the community while ensuring that it is not abused or used as a weapon to hurt others. As such, the University of Guam, the ibako represents the community engagement tool for our president to use when building strong relationships with the stakeholders of the university. With that significance, the ibako amply and fittingly symbolizes the presidency of the University of Guam. The duties and responsibilities rest on the shoulders of the president. His mission is to build higher education bridges between the university and our communities in the north, where the sun rises, to the south, where the sun sets on the territory of Guam. Additionally, those duties and responsibilities extend beyond the shores of Guam to the island governments and jurisdictions within our region. The President, therefore, should consider the debacle and make important decisions that promote actions to remove the symbolic vines of illiteracy and suffering along the pathways of our communities. In essence, to advance the communities served by the University of Guam. The debacle rests on the President's shoulders, closest to his hearing organ, the ears. This symbolizes the need for the President to rest from other duties and give time to listen to the cries of students, staff, faculty, and the community. The balancing of the debacle on the shoulders also symbolizes the balancing of the presidential authorities and powers so that everyone coming under those authorities and powers may receive equal opportunities and treatment. The President's duties remain with him every waking moment except when he retires for the night. In your retirement from UOG, we wish for you to set the debacle in a safe place where you could be reminded of the fond memories you experienced at the University of Guam. Congratulations, Mr. President. Wishing you and your wife, Ms. Patty Krise, all the best and many blessings. From your Enrollment Management and Student Success Divisions, Biba, UOG, Biba, Dr. Krise.
That is so cool. This one you can't bring on your carry-on, Dr. Krise. You got to put this one in the luggage. No, the other one, yeah, not this one.
We're the best unit, by the way. Just want to let you guys know that.
All right. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome the team from the UOG Island Wisdom Council.
All right, half a day. So we're here as members of the Island Wisdom Group. Okay.
You're too tall. Well, hold it.
It's good. All right, so we're here as members of the Island Wisdom Group. We were formed as a result of President Krise's Power Hulu Strategic Initiative to answer the call to bring the university to become a research university centered in island wisdom. And we began under the direction of our first chairs, Dr. Enriquez, Dean Monique Story, Dean Annette Santos, and Dr. Gina Rojas. We also brought along Melissa Taitano and Dr. Lisa Linda Natividad, and then most importantly, Mr. Larry Regatal, our Master Navigator. So on behalf of Island Wisdom, we are here to thank you, Dr. Krise, for your support of the initiative. Over the last almost 4 years now, we've been able to establish a lot of locally focused priorities for the university. We've opened up new avenues for discussing the needs of marginalized groups in the island and the region. And we've been able to integrate various forms of indigenous knowledge into our university curriculum, most recently the Joamti program and the Traditional Seafaring Certificate program. And we are here to present you two gifts from the Island Wisdom Group, and then we have another gift from the Micronesian Area Research Center. The first gift
Why don't I get the link?
The first gift is a traditional Chamorro Sanahi, carved by master carver Greg Pangilinan. Yeah. And the second gift is a traditional Carolinian lava lava, and I have Master Navigator Larry Regatal to explain its significance.
Thank you very much, Mike. You're too tall. So, in the islands, and I'm sure it's applied all throughout the islands, when somebody comes on their canoe and reaches your shore, you lay them. And I mean lay them with flowers or leis. Likewise, when they're going to leave, the first order of business is that you got to get them, once again, given the flowers. So may I please ask Dr. Krise and Madame Patty. I would like to explain these two gifts. Well, Mike talked about the sinahi, the lava lavas, from where I come from. There are 6 different types of lava lavas, the patterns, the style. We're presenting 2, ranging from the beige to card to flak to even the most royal fabric of all, the machi. But we are now presenting these 2 lava lavas, which is the beige and a card, these 2. I should say that in our culture, when somebody comes to our shores, we give you flowers. But when you're going to leave, we give you flowers, but we also give you lava lavas, or in some instances, Senate ropes. The lava lavas are in my understanding, for 2 reasons. One is that we identify it as a matpangak, we call it, which means the cross eyes. And the reason that we term it as a cross-eyed is because it's a form of currency. So when you go outside, you're expected to carry this as a form of currency, if you will, that if somebody comes, a friend or someone else comes, and you feel obligated to give something, this would be the thing that you would go back out to your canoe to search for. The second point of giving somebody a lava lava is that it's a shroud. When we voyage on our canoes, every person on the canoe carries a lava lava for those 2 reasons. One is that it could be a cross-eyed, as the term is known, but really what it means is that it's a gift, that it can be a gift again from you to someone else, or one to be kept. And then, of course, the second term is a shroud. So we take him with us. I remember, like for me, going off to school every year, my grandmother, they would always have me carry them, and when I return back home, I give it back to them when I don't need it. But in most cases, I've given out to friends as a form of a gift, or in this case, matpangak, as we would call it. And so I want to just end it by saying that as a cultural practitioner myself, I never thought that a day would come when indigenous people who have indigenous knowledge would be standing side by side with PhD doctors from institutions of higher learning. And to me, this means a lot as someone that could be here. And I look at both you, Dr. Krise, and the vision of Dr. Enriquez. I think the 2 of you has really taken that bold and perhaps maybe somewhat crazy move to go beyond what it's called, but I think you have to be crazy at times to do that. I don't know of any other university in the region that has now a full-fledged certificate program in traditional seafaring, Micronesian traditional seafaring, and the Zoamtes. So congratulations to you both, and may you take this as presents from Island Wisdom.
Perfect fit. Thank you very much, Master Larry A. Tall. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, we'd like to welcome up the team from the UOG Marine Lab.
I think I'm probably alone today because apparently there's a grant due, so everybody else is writing grants. So rumor has it you like to dive. We've had many conversations about this over the past couple of years, and I am very ashamed to say that I have not yet made it happen, but that is going to change. The bearer of this certificate is entitled to one dive on board the ML Randall to visit the Guam Coral Restoration Group's Ocean Nursery and Outplanting Field. And we're hoping that you can join us. We might make you clean, but you know, whatever. We'll keep you busy. On June 12th, I have not okayed it with Dave OK. I call him the same thing. So I have to check the schedule, but that's when the tides are good. So we're hoping that you can come out with us. Thank you for all that you've done.
That's what I'm talking about, Auntie Lori. I told you it's like a baby shower. You gave him a gift card. I love that. Oh, I should be standing. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome the University of Guam School of Business and Public Administration.
Thank you. I'd like to invite any of the staff, faculty, students who are here today to join me. Miss Debbie, come on over. It is Friday. It is that end of the semester. You've probably seen students who are coming and going from their classes. We have a few things, and I'd like to start with the staff. I've searched for something that would represent something meaningful from them that I could share with you. And as I look around my office, I found this. It is a paperweight. The paperweight is embossed with the School of Business and Public Administration, a place that we shared with Dr. Krise and his administrative team over all these years. It was probably created as a commemorative for when this building was constructed and opened. The date on here is July 20th, 2006. We have been in this building for 17 years. In that time, I commend the staff for the magnificent job that they do in maintaining, caring, loving this building. It is the envy of this campus, and I hear that often. And they ask me, what's my secret? And I said, there's no secret. It's President Krise. He's right here. But also, it is the most recent building until the new buildings are built. The other reason why I'm giving this to you on behalf of the staff is because you've done something very special for the staff. You have made this paperweight obsolete. We have converted to Adobe sign. Everything is electronic. We try not to use paper at all. And so the best gift we can give you is something that needs a new life. Next up is the innovation of an incredible group of students, both graduate and undergraduate students. You've probably heard most recently of our HoverX project out in Pohnpei, delivering medication as a proof of concept. Amazing, amazing turnout, amazing energy for a demonstration of learning that goes on here all across campus. For our public administration, MPA students, they are creating legislation that will help
encourage healthier lifestyles. They host the controversial, the difficult questions that bring community together. At the undergraduate level, we've been very fortunate that they are leading us in change. And so while we have this lovely placard from our students through C4EI, which is the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, in partnership, and we're in lots of partnerships, with the Center for Island Sustainability, with the Chamorro Village Makerspace, they have transformed this building to look something like this. So the future is upon us with our students who now are taking plastic, reinventing it into proof of concept of what you can do to carry forward the learning, the ideas, the change. And so with this, our students symbolize the change makers. And finally, our faculty. Our faculty respect you. Our faculty look to you for your leadership. And in thinking about what we could give to you as a tribute, we thought of that movie, A Beautiful Mind. And many of you are familiar with A Beautiful Mind, John Nash, the economist. And there was one line in there that Ron Howard created to symbolize the connection between one colleague and another. And that is the humble pen. And the words that they spoke when they gave John Nash this pen, as we give this pen to President Krise, is, thank you for being here. So with that, safe journeys, continued success. You've made a difference. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful gifts. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the team from the University of Guam School of Health.
Good afternoon. We're from the School of Health, soon to be the Margaret Perez Hattori Uchima School of Health. Thanks to Dr. Krise. We have a very modest gift. The geriatric grant, geriatric workforce enhancement grant, was Margaret's baby, and she was very proud of it. And she helped to develop Guahan Memories, a book for adults with memory loss. Not that either of you have memory loss, but it has very nice pictures of Guam and stories of Guam. So we have Guahan Memories for you. We want you to remember it rains other places in the world besides Guam, so you have matching umbrellas. And then when you really miss us, we give you some island jewelry. Forgive me, I don't remember which jurisdiction I got this at, but it has a pendant for Dr. Krise and a pin for Mrs. Krise. We'll miss you both, and we'll miss Patty's rum cake. But safe journeys, and thank you for everything you've done for us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give it up for our hardworking team and our hardworking president from the School of Health. Our next presentation comes to us courtesy of the University of Guam Student Government Association.
Buenas and half a day, everyone. My name is Christian. I'm currently the 61st Student Government Association Vice President. I'm joined with Mr. Austin Fortuno, who is the Treasurer, and Ms. Thelma Rogers, who is the Public Relations Officer. So on behalf of Student Government Association, Dr. Krise, we would like to present with you a resolution and a certificate from the Guam Youth Congress. If I can also have Ms. Julie Laksamana join us. So we would just like to present with you a resolution and a certificate commending you for your excellence as the 11th President of the University of Guam, especially for your support in all the student initiatives that happens on Guam, especially for you and the rest of the administration for including our voice to be part of administration decisions just like the budget. We're really hoping for that 42 next week. We'll see what happens. That'll be the biggest gift to Dr. Krise. But our gift is not as grand as those scholarships and those frames, but we would like to also present a photo which was taken at the UNG Endowment Foundation Gala that happened last year. I decided to print this photo because that was the first time I ever provided my speech in front of so many people, and I remember Dr. Krise and Mrs. Krise, who were one of the biggest supporters in the crowd, who, even though I was so nervous, they were the loudest claps, the loudest cheerleaders. And so yeah, that's the photo. And even though it's very small, it really signifies the great relationship that Dr. Krise has made with the students and in keeping us as a partner in promoting UOG as, another home for the students from our outer islands and for the students who come here and who are from Guam. So we would like to, again, thank you and Mrs. Krise for what you have done for the university. So if you'd like to join us for a really cute photo, if we can also do a selfie. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Yes, Biba Dr. Krise.
Biba. Christian, you should print that picture out and then give it to him before he leaves. Thank you very much. Again, the amazing team from the Student Government Association. Up next, we'd like to welcome the representatives of the UOG Staff Council.
Hafaday, Dr. Krise. On behalf of our Staff Council Chair, Sally McDonald, who is off island at this time, and our members of the 17th Staff Council, we're not all fully here, but we would like to extend a sendunkaluna siduus maasi for your leadership, your dedication, and commitment to the University of Guam the past 5 years. We want to wish you the very best for a fulfilled and happy retirement. We will miss you. Biba!
All right. Up next, we'd like to welcome members of the Society of Emeritus Professors and Retired Scholars.
I wait for our colleagues, Dr. Rebecca Stephenson and Dr. Catherine Wood, to join up on stage here. President Tom Krise, Mrs. Patty Krise, congratulations on your retirement. On behalf of the Society of Retired Professors and, emeritus professors and retired scholars, we extend our Sijus Masi for your leadership and stewardship, supporting all of us for the past 5 years. Thank you so much. We have a very small gift for you to take home, and here it is. It is a photograph taken 2 weeks ago at the SEPA's Scholarship Luncheon. You two are standing in front of a picture drawn by Guam artist Rick Castro. And that picture is special because it depicts an ancient lattice stone. Dr. Krise and Mrs. Krise.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Research Corporation of the University of Guam.
Thank you, Kyle. And thanks, everybody, for sticking around and kind of sweating through the last of it here. But the Research Corporation, one of our key performance indicators is grant expenditures. And in the last 5 years, we went from $7 million in expenditures to $20 million in expenditures. And how do you do that and keep compliant? Accountants. And so we are completely self-sufficient, and we have been since 2019. And the legislature, when they created this, passed this law, allowed us to become the engine to propel the university's research agenda forward. And so we've got about 250 jobs and all that money circulating in the economy. And so with that, Dr. Krise and Mrs. Krise, we'd like to present to you a $1,000 check that is going into your GAP scholarship. So, and congratulations on your retirement.
Yes, indeed. And our final presentation for this afternoon, I'd like to welcome the Richard Taitano Micronesian Area Research Center.
So what we would like to do is to issue an invitation to Dr. Krise and to Patty Krise to take a journey on Inan Ilawal, UOG's canoe.
You were given the picture, but we invite you to take the ride. We can extend that ride to Seattle. We understand you have your own canoe.
All right. While our presentations of gifts has concluded, ladies and gents, the party is just getting started. Right now, I'd like to ask for everybody to please rise for our official blessing of our table. We'll move on to some refreshments as we continue the celebration of Dr. Thomas Krise, Miss Patty Krise. I'd like to welcome now for our official blessing, Mr. Randy.
Thank you. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to take time and think about the last 5 years and everything that has been taken place, all the accomplishments, all the sadness, all the life that has happened. We thank you for the time that we've had with President Krise and Patty, and we wish them the best as they leave. Father, we want to thank you for the food that you have provided for us. We pray that you would bless it to our bodies. We pray for your blessings on our discussions and feedback and continued celebrations of the time that President Krise has had here at UOG. In Jesus' name we ask this. Amen.
All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, again, refreshments will be served in the multi-purpose room back here. If I could have our VIPs, please lead the way. Thank you again for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The celebration of Dr. Thomas Krise and all of his amazing work here at the University of Guam continues. Thank you for joining us, and as I mentioned, refreshments will be served momentarily. Without further ado, what's a party without some awesome music? Turning it over to the great team from Malak Mona.
check, check. Check, check, mic check.
When you're down and trouble and you need a helping hand and nothing can hold up. When you're down and trouble and you need a helping hand and nothing, oh nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call